All righty, folks. Like I said in video number one, I have had enough doom. We are not talking World War III. We are not talking port strikes. We are not talking recession. We are not talking presidential election. We are actually talking how high school seniors, 17 or 18-year-olds, can retire by 25. Anna, let's bring some hope, joy to the world. Let's get some some 18-year-olds retired by 25. What is one thing you would tell a high school senior today so they could be retired by 25? Ladies first.
Well, guess what? I have an 18 and 21-year-old, so I'm beating this drum and living this constantly and hoping that I'm giving them some good advice. But number one, my motto, my easy financial education equation is you must learn to live below your means while you work to expand your means. Whatever way best suits your skills, your passions, what the world needs, and what you can be paid to do. It's kind of this Japanese concept of ikigai, right? Maybe this is two things, but you figure out what is it that you uniquely are designed and love and passionate about that the world needs and will pay you money to do. Do that first so that you can enjoy life and what you're doing, and then live below your means while you're making money doing something that you love and you can be paid for.
Yeah, the first thing I would tell a high school senior, certainly at 17, is I would tell them you're about to be indoctrinated to the 40-40 lifestyle. You are about to be indoctrinated to keeping up with the Joneses. You are about to be offered credit cards and debt, and you are about to be given things that you could buy now, pay later because you're 18 and you can sign legal documents. I would tell high school seniors avoid, avoid, avoid. Again, I don't know why we don't tell people as a senior this stuff's coming. I remember going to college and my first day on campus buying books. So I don't even think school started yet. All of these, in my case, they were all pretty girls handing out, beer cozies and frisbees and all these things with credit cards. I mean, they're just like, hey, you're 18, you could sign for this and buy pizza and do this and do that, whatever. I want to scream at high school seniors, avoid starting the 40-40 journey. If you could avoid getting a credit card, if you can avoid doing these things, that's step one for me is highlight the darkness that's coming and that people are about to pounce on you. And once you sign up for this and you paying 23% interest, you got to work forever. And I would, my first thing is highlight the downside, the darkness.
Yeah, for sure. And I do, in fairness, I've encouraged both of my kids to get a credit card rather than using a debit card for two reasons. One, accounts being hacked and not wanting their bank account wiped out. But two, when they have that credit card, it is set up and I set them up to pay off the whole balance every single month. So it says whatever I've charged, it's coming out of my bank account every month so that they know this is only so that you can build credit and
Mhm.
safely buy things online, which they do all the time from the US, China, or wherever they're doing it. So I think it's good to have a card and get the discipline and build the credit of using that, but they have to know that gives them more temptation to spend what they can't. So they've got to learn to live below their means. The second thing that I tell every single young person, and I've spoken to a group of seniors a couple times as well, is as soon as you can, house hack a multi-unit. Go buy a multi-unit. You can get a loan 3.5% down. You might have to get your parents to co-sign the first time, or you're going to need to have a W-2 and a credit score for at least a year or two. So, do what you can to live below your means until then. Rent the small apartment, get roommates, live at home, whatever you can do, but save up that 3.5% down payment in your closing costs. Go get an FHA owner occupied multi-unit, live in one of the units, and then rent the other ones out so that your cost of living and housing becomes zero or very, very close to it. We've talked about on this show, I house hacked, took a big step back. It was the best thing I ever did because it helps you to get that first part of that equation right. You're living below your means and you have tenants that are paying for it. For people that don't have multi-units around, there's a lot of really smart college kids that have bought a single family house as their home or their parents co-sign, and then they rent out all the bedrooms and they basically house hack a single family. So whatever you can do, buy your first piece of real estate young, save for that down payment. It will make your cost of living almost zero, which makes you technically financially free, even with a very low salary.
Yeah. I would go one step further. If I'm really trying to paint a vision for a 25-year-old being financially free, not only do you got a house hack, call it a fourplex, but I would tell you between 18 and 25, I want you to house hack 3 times. I
Yeah,
want you to be on that third house hack at 25, because then again, you're not only living for free, but now you have positive cash flow from 2 other buildings, right? 2 other 4 units. And that will help you go forward. You'll have appreciation, in the first one for 4 years, you have appreciation in the second one for 2 years, and going forward. This game of wealth creation is pretty simple, right? I always tell people inflation's a feature, not a bug. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You can fight all this madness, but you have to own assets. Ryan Sullivan from CNBC said the other day something I said for the last 2 years. What we are seeing in the US economy today is asset owners are winning, asset renters are losing. You can hate it all you want, but become an asset owner. And if you're 18 and you want to be done by 25, try to become an asset owner of your third house hack would be the goal I would tell them to strive for.
absolutely. And I actually do that exact same thing with my children. I'm like, all you got to do is live in it for a year. You have to attest it, live in it for a year, and then save up enough down payment for the next one. And if you go from like a quad to then a triplex to then a duplex to then a single, you're not going to get a lot of questions because you're saying, I'm moving from my current, owner OC multi-unit to a bigger one, because that's
Yeah.
important. If you start with a single, they may not believe you and give you the loan for the double or the quad. So start with a quad, go to a triplex, go to a duplex, whatnot. And it's actually pretty easy to do. And the other thing is to have confidence in yourself, but know that you need a team around you to support you in order to do that. It's kind of scary when kids are just coming out of school.
Mm,
Most of them haven't been taught by parents or school, really, even a personal finance class, how to budget. They're overwhelmed with, how am I going to be a landlord while I'm going to med school or whatever it is while I'm working my full-time job. When you first get properties, don't try to property manage them on their own. And we could have a whole debate about that, but I can just tell you, having young adults who are like, I want to focus on my career right now. I don't want to have to be a landlord, and I might want to live out of state. I don't want to have to do that. All their I don't want tos, or I don't know hows, or I don't have the skills or the time, is a mind block to them to not want to do it. When you buy your first one, if you're buying it right and you're listening to you and I, Michael, on how do you buy a property that actually cash flows, you build in the property management fee and you pay the best property management company in your area to manage those properties. They'll take 6 to 10%, and that's just a cost of doing the business. Then you own them really passively. You can even do that with the ones that you house hack if you want to, so that you don't let the lack of knowledge or skills slow you down from your goals. Eventually, if you decide you want to, manage your own properties, you can, but surround yourself with the people that are going to give you the confidence to be able to do it, and then professionals on your team that can make it easier for you.
love that. Love that. Another thing I would tell a high school senior is college is not required. Right. One of the things that I was raised to believe, that what college was required. It was the key to my financial future. Now, again, I'm not totally against college. I think if you have a plan, a return on investment for both the time and money, and there is a plan, go nuts. You do you. But I think there's a lot of people in my generation who got into college without a passion, without a focus, bounced around, got a general degree, and now regret that because of all the debt that's piled up. I would tell people specifically today, we are seeing a huge shift in the trades. We are seeing more and more folks like in my Rolodex for my market of Fresno, California. I just looked at this the other day. I have the average age of the trades that I work with, like my number one, my number two, my number three person, is 54 years old. Right? Some of these folks are 60 something. Again, we have a huge gap in the trades. And again, the trades are, kind of recessionary. They're inflation adjusted. You can make 6 figures in your 20s. Don't poo poo the trades. They may be the right thing. And again, think about coming out of school, going to become a trades, working with someone, apprentice, I think they call it, versus, hey, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to do the 5-year plan. I'm going to come out with, $80,000 in debt and no appreciable skill sets, there's nothing wrong with the trades. And again, if you want to be done by 25, you probably aren't going to college, right? Because again, you lose those 4 years of skill building. You might, right? If you house hack and do college roommate stuff. But again, I think being done by 25 probably means you didn't go to college. And that's okay if that's what you, if you have a plan.
Yeah, and there are kids like my son who, went to college. He's almost done. Can you believe he's a senior now, getting his
Gosh.
finance degree, but he's doing real estate related things on the side. So he's got a side hustle. He's selling insurance and making money to invest in real estate. So there's ways to do it, right? But here's I would say the next thing is to really take a chance on you. You've got to believe in yourself and take a chance. When you're young, especially if you're not married yet, I tell my kids, don't get distracted by trying to fall in love and meet the person and get married yet if you're not ready, right? Most males, Michael, brains are not fully developed biologically till they're 25 years old. Yet it's
I'm over 50 and I'm not sure mine's developed yet, but that's okay.
well, I say that about my husband too, and he's 55. But really and truly, like we're asking kids to make decisions before their brains are fully developed on what do you want to do with the rest of your life, and then they get distracted by all the hormones and the opposite sex, and then they get derailed, and their partner may not think things the way that they do. It's like in the beginning, bet on you and
Mhm.
growing and becoming the person that you want to be and creating the life that you want. Put it down on paper, right? So I tell my kids, like, there's so much in this, right? But bet on you, take a chance on you, and create the life that you want to live on paper today. And then take those baby step chances on yourself. If this is what I want, financial freedom by 25, I'm going to take the chance to put myself out there, bet on me, and take risks that other people might not do. They might think I'm weird. They might think I'm stupid. I'm going against the flow, going against what everybody else is taught to do. But take a chance on you. You can't do that till you get the confidence to know this is what I think I want in life. Write it down, do a vision board, whatever you have to, that this is the life I want to create for myself. And then you reverse engineer. Now, in order for me to do that, I got to take a leap of faith and believe in myself and take a chance on myself to take the first step. And for some, that may be the house hacking. For some, it might be the trade. For some, it might be the college degree. That's a first step. Then the next thing is, okay, now it's the next step is I've got to take some of my money, set it aside to invest. Then the next step's going to be I'm going to live below my means, right? So take those chances, but it all starts with you've got to have a vision for your life. Figure that out. You don't have to have it perfectly figured out, but figure it out and then bet on yourself. Invest in yourself more than you invest in time with an employer, right? Be a good employee, but are you spending as much time investing in you and your growth and your vision as you are studying or working your full-time job? Most people aren't. They're mindlessly living, going out and partying with their friends or whatever it is after work, watching, binge watching their TVs. Like, are you investing your time in yourself? Are you betting
Mm.
on you? You should.
Yeah. Yeah, the next thing I would tell a high school senior today, and I say this a lot, really to all different ages, but especially high school seniors, you're going to have to fire your friends. Kind of to your point, right? If you're going to go after this journey to be financially free and retired by 25, or at least have the ability to retire at 25, you got to get in new rooms, got to get around new people. It's very unlikely that one, let alone several of your friends, are going to want to do what's required. Takes sacrifice. It takes discipline. It takes being the odd person of the group. Just know that going in. Graduate high school, collect your diploma, go get new friends, fire your friends, get in new networks. Um, and again, like we go to our REI meetups, you and I, we go to different financial things all the time. And, you're under 50, I'm over 50. Our average age is 50. Um, we love talking to 18, 19, 20-year olds. We love imparting that wisdom. So again, don't feel like you are the young one that have no value. Just by getting in rooms with people that are decades ahead of you, they will want to put their arms around you because they want you to win. They want to look at you and see you retired at 25 because I didn't do it till 45. If I can
Yeah.
help somebody get there 2 decades earlier, that's amazing. But yeah, you
Yeah.
are certainly gonna have to fire your friends as a high school senior if you're gonna wanna be free at 25.
Right, absolutely. And another one that I would say is, get uncomfortable being afraid and take the
Mm.
risk anyway. Because I can tell you, anytime you haven't done something, you're going to be afraid of failure. You're going to be afraid, I'm going to fail. I'm going to look stupid. I'm going to lose money, right? But if you don't face your fears and say, okay, am I more afraid of failure or and how people might think of me? And this is really important for people in that 18 to young 20 age. It's all about who likes me and am I good enough, right? You've got to have enough confidence in yourself that you can say, I am afraid, but I have the courage to invest in me and to take that risk. And so face your fears. Don't be afraid of what other people think. You might be afraid of what could happen. What I like to do is say, okay, I know I'm going to fail, but I'm going to fail forward. Like I'm afraid that I might fail. The likelihood is I am going to fail a little bit because I haven't done this before. And so it's normal to go for something you haven't done, to not know what you don't know, to make some mistakes that are going to cost you some time, some friends, and some money. But be okay with that. Let making mistakes and failing be a normal part of your growth and understand that it is normal and it will make you stronger. Once you're willing to make mistakes, right? The first time I flipped a house, I'll remember I was afraid. I'm like, I was a professional. I knew about money. I had sold mortgages at the bank. I like decorations. I thought, how hard can it be? I was a little afraid I'd lose money. And guess what? I lost a year of my life and 10 grand on that first flip. My husband was like, no knock on him, but we're never doing that again. And I
Yeah.
was like, I'm doing it again. I learned lessons. I know next time I'm going to make 40 grand instead of losing 10, right? But if I hadn't failed and realized the failure wasn't as bad as I thought it could be, it didn't end. Like failure's only, fatal if it's final, if you don't do it again, right? But let yourself fail. That's how you learn. It's your best teacher. And it builds the confidence that I got through it. It wasn't as bad as I thought, and I'm going to do it again. Until you get comfortable with being willing to take risks and willing to fail, you will not move forward. So it's really important.
Yeah. The next one I would tell a 17, 18-year-old is you're going to have some important choices ahead of you. The one that I want you to think about is trying to control or minimize what I call your monthly nut. After being interviewed by the Iced Coffee Hour, those Gen Z, I now know that monthly nut is not a common vernacular in the younger age. So I'll say it this way: your fixed monthly expenses. If you're going to have choices, where do you live? Do you house hack? Do you what kind of car do you drive? Right? All of these choices that you make will either add or subtract your monthly expenses. And why do I bring this up? The whole goal of earning financial freedom by 25 is to have your passive income that you don't sell your life for 1 hour at a time to exceed your monthly fixed expenses. So again, the lower you can keep that, drive a cheaper car, drive a used car,
Mm.
lower insurance, better, gas, whatever, the easier and faster you can get out of it. And I think the best game, if you want to play a game to really kind of inundate you, I have this on my website, onerentalatatime.com under These Made Me Rich, was Rich Dad Poor Dad's cash flow game. I challenge
Yes.
you is play that game as a doctor and set a stopwatch. How soon do you get out? And then set it as a janitor. 9 times out of 10, the janitor will get out first. Now, in fairness, the doctor or lawyer, once they get out, their lifestyle is crazy. But that's not the goal. The goal is to get out.
Yeah.
So again, when you're 18 to 25, don't do the Hulus or Netflix or every additional monthly expense means it takes longer to get out. So think about
Yes.
those. What's the final one on that?
Absolutely. I love that, by the way. I play cash flow with all my kids. I started them young with cash flow for kids, but it is such an eye-opening game and it will teach you so much about money. I would say the last thing, there have been lots of studies and surveys done following college kids to see who becomes successful. And it is not the person usually that made straight A's, that was always good at everything, that had the easy life, had everything given to them. It's the person that develops grit and resilience. It is the number one characteristics of successful people. If you can make up your mind at a young age that life is hard, I'm going to have a lot of hits. I'm going to be knocked down a zillion times. I'm going to be confused and hurt and afraid and scared and ill-equipped to handle what happens. But you have a mindset that says, like a buoy, resilience is like a buoy that gets pulled underwater and it bounces back up, and it gets pulled down and it bounces back up. You have to have a mindset. If there was only one thing you could remind yourself of, is that my ability to be successful really is determined by how quickly I choose to bounce back up and get through every single problem that comes. That I don't look at those as things that are going to destroy me or make me cower back or make me stop from creating that vision that I said to create at the beginning. You have a mindset from the beginning that this is going to be hard, but I am worth it and I am going to bounce back quickly. And the faster you can learn to put on your boots, not wallow in the mud, get on the horse and ride again, the faster you will become successful, the faster you will become financially free, because you're going to not let anything stop you. And everything that happens to you, my mindset is this is happening for me, not to me. When every challenge and every roadblock that you have in your life, and I don't care if it's abuse, if it's childhood trauma, there's no excuses. They're all hard, but we can choose that we're a victim of this life or we're a victor of this life. And if you have that mindset, I will succeed. I will get stronger. I am going to create the life by design. And I don't care what happens, I'm going to bounce back quickly. If I don't know how, I'm going to reach out to that network. I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to bounce back. It's going to make me stronger. That is the key to success. When you put all these things together, I think it's even the most important.
I love that. I couldn't figure out a better way to end. That is amazing. Where can they find you?
You can find me here on your channel almost every week. You can find me at social media at Anna Kelly, REI Mom. And if you're interested in real estate coaching and consulting, you can find me at AnnaKellyInvesting.com.
Thank you so much.